Hi, this week's quest takes us on the scenic route of having done what? We've all been on road trips and enjoyed the views and even made pit stops along the way. Think about this statement. Having done what? Means you have done something and maybe multiple things. And let's face it, there were times we've tried to do them all in one great swoop, whether it was a benefit to us or not. But hopefully what we have done points to intimacy and a deeper relationship with our Heavenly Father. So, are you ready to quest? You know, God didn't have to come looking for us. He knew right where we would be and the condition we would be in. He knew that at the right moment we would see His smile and melt our hearts and our chains. Because of His great love for us, He didn't leave us where we were. And out of His love, a plan to prosper us and to give us a future. What a promise. Now, let's do a drive-by of our governing verse. James 1, starting in verse 2. Now, this is out of the Passion Translation, and it reads, "My fellow believers, when it seems as though you are facing nothing but difficulties, see it as an invaluable opportunity to experience the greatest joy that you can. For you know that when your faith is tested, it stirs up in you the power of endurance. And then as your endurance grows even stronger, it will release perfection in every part of your being until there is nothing missing and nothing lacking." Wow. Facing nothing but difficulties? You know, in other translations it reads various trials. Now, there's something we've all gone through, various trials and difficulties. Can you imagine that scenic route? Oh, but there are times when we just can't see, let alone experience the greatest of joys. Maybe we missed the invaluable opportunity of our faith and got caught in the wave of doubt, worry, and fear, rather than our surrender to the one who promises to release perfection into every part of our being until there is nothing missing and nothing lacking. Now, that's something to make you go, As always, there's a question. What would it look like for perfection to be released into every part of our being until there is nothing missing and nothing lacking? You know, this brings to mind Genesis chapter 22. You know, the story of Abraham when he was to offer up his son Isaac as a burnt offering to God. This was the son he loved. What do you think he went through to get to the place to go through with this act? You talk about difficulties or various trials. How would you handle that situation? You know, in verse 6, Abraham took the wood for the burnt offering and he laid it on his son Isaac. So you know that Isaac was not just some little boy, but somewheres around the age of 30. Abe had the fire and the knife, and he took off. And they took off. Isaac was smart enough to know these are things we use for a sacrifice. but he also noticed there was something missing. So Isaac asked his dad, just like most kids would, Dad, where's the lamb for the burnt offering? Abe's response was, God will provide the lamb. Come on, let's go. Another question. So how many times have you done what you thought was better rather than what God is asking, thinking it would just kill what you love? Been there, done that. That's a t-shirt that is hard to burn. Let's pick up the story in Hebrews chapter 11, starting in verse 17. Now this is out of the New King James Version. And it reads, by faith, Abraham, when he was tested, offered up Isaac, and he who had received the promise offered up his only begotten son, of whom it was said, in Isaac your seed shall be called. In concluding that God was able to raise him up, even from the dead, from which he also received him in a figurative sense. Oh my gosh. You talk about questing through the question to find a God solution to his difficulty, that God would have raised Isaac from the dead. You have a promise here. And that's the same place where Abraham called it Jehovah Jireh, the Lord our provider. If you and I are facing nothing but difficulties, we have to quest through the question and find a God solution. The Lord who provides is our daddy. He gives us green pastures to lie in and leads us by still waters. And it is he who restores our soul. And when we go through the valley of the shadow of death, he does not go, oh, sorry, I had to go help Naquifa. No, no, no. He promised to never leave us or forsake us. Let's look at Psalm 103, starting in verse 11. Now this is out of the Passion Translation. Higher than the highest heavens, that's how high your tender mercies extend. Greater than the grandeur of heaven above is the greatness of your loyal love, towering over all who fear you and bow down before you. Farther than from a sunrise to a sunset, that's how far you've removed our guilt from us. The same way a loving father feels towards his children, that's but a sample of your tender feelings toward us, your beloved children who live in awe of you. Oh my gosh, what a picture. Greater than the grandeur of heaven, the greatness of the Lord's loyal love towering over all who fear him. So, having done what? Surrendered to him. Psalm 111, verse 10, again out of the Passion Translation reads, where can wisdom be found? It was born in the fear of God. Everyone who follows his ways will never lack his living understanding, and the adoration of God will abide throughout eternity. Wow. If wisdom is born in the fear of the Lord, that's the place of surrender. Having done what? We let go and let God be who he wants to be for us. Surrender. That's my heart. God bless you. I love you.